The alley smelled of rain-soaked asphalt and forgotten dreams, but Officer Marcus Tate saw only the man before him, trembling under a threadbare jacket. His hands, steady from years of wielding a badge, held a razor with care, gliding it across the stranger's stubbled cheek. In that fleeting moment, Marcus didn't know he was shaving the face of a man who'd once held his fate in a courtroom. Marcus Tate, 32. A black police officer with a chiseled jaw and a heart too big for his uniform, patrolled the streets of Philadelphia with a quiet intensity. The city's pulse thrummed through him, horns blaring, neon signs flickering, the chatter of lives intersecting. Tonight, his beat took him to a forgotten corner of Center City, where the homeless gathered like shadows cast by skyscrapers. He spotted him near a dumpster, crouched against a brick wall, his face hidden beneath a matted beard and a hood pulled low. The man's hands clutched a cardboard sign. Anything helps. Marcus's instincts, honed by years on the force, told him to move on. But something, maybe the slump of the man's shoulders, maybe the way his fingers shook, made Marcus pause. "Hey," Marcus called softly, crouching to meet the man's level. "You okay?" The man lifted his head, revealing eyes like fractured sapphires, bright despite the grime. He was white, early 30s, with a face that might have been handsome once, before the streets carved their story into his skin. "Just trying to stay warm," he murmured, voice low but clear, like a radio station cutting through static. Marcus noticed the man's beard, tangled and uneven, a barrier to the world. "You want a cleanup?" he asked, tapping the small grooming kit he carried. His odd habit, born from helping his younger brother after their father left. The man blinked, surprised, then nodded. As Marcus set up a makeshift station on a nearby bench, the man introduced himself as Eli. No last name, just Eli. Marcus didn't push. He lathered Eli's face with care, the razor moving in gentle strokes. Their silence wasn't awkward. It was a shared language, one of trust forged in small gestures. Eli's eyes softened, and Marcus felt a warmth he couldn't name. "You don't have to do this," Eli said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I want to," Marcus replied, and he meant it. The city faded, leaving just the two of them, bound by this quiet act of humanity. When the shave was done, Eli touched his face, marveling at the smoothness. "Feels like I'm me again," he said, a faint smile breaking through. Marcus grinned, packing up his kit, unaware that Eli's face, now clear and sharp, stirred a memory he couldn't place. Over the next week, Marcus found himself drawn back to that alley. Eli was always there, sometimes reading a tattered book, sometimes staring at the sky. Each time, Marcus brought something: a coffee, a sandwich, a clean pair of socks. Eli accepted them with quiet gratitude, but it was their conversations that kept Marcus coming back. Eli had a way of speaking, measured yet vivid, like he'd seen the world's highs and lows and carried them in his chest. He talked about art, about jazz clubs in New Orleans, about the way rain sounded on a tin roof. Marcus, usually guarded, found himself opening up about his own life. His dreams of being a painter, abandoned when he joined the force to support his family. One night, under a street lamp's glow, Eli asked, "Why do you keep coming back, Marcus?" Marcus hesitated, his breath catching. "You remind me there's more to this job than arrests and reports. You remind me of something real." Eli's gaze held his, and for a moment, the world tilted. Marcus, who'd never questioned his attraction to women, felt a pull he couldn't explain, a current running between them, electric and terrifying. Eli reached out, his fingers brushing Marcus's hand, and neither pulled away. But the next day, Eli was gone. The alley was empty, his cardboard sign abandoned. Marcus's heart sank, a mix of worry and something deeper, something he wasn't ready to name. He searched the city, asking other homeless folks, checking shelters. Nothing. Days turned to weeks, and Marcus's thoughts lingered on Eli. He replayed their conversations, the way Eli's laugh had cracked through his guarded exterior. He wondered if he'd imagined the connection, if he'd misread the spark in Eli's eyes. 3 months later, Marcus stood in a Philadelphia courtroom, testifying in a minor assault case. His uniform felt tight, the air heavy with procedure. He glanced at the judge's bench, expecting the usual stern face of Judge Margaret Cole. Instead, a man sat there, his face clean-shaven, his eyes sharp and familiar. Marcus froze. It was Eli. Judge Elias Harper, 34, presided with a quiet authority that filled the room. His robes hid the scars of the streets, but those blue eyes, now clear and commanding, were unmistakable. Marcus's mind raced. How? Why? The man he'd shaved in an alley, the man he'd shared coffee and secrets with, was a judge? After the session, Marcus lingered, his heart pounding. Eli, no, Judge Harper, approached him in the empty courtroom. Officer Tate, he said, his voice steady but laced with something softer. I owe you an explanation. Eli revealed the truth. He'd been on sabbatical, grappling with burnout and his own identity. A gay man who'd hidden his truth for years. He'd taken to the streets to understand the people he judged, to live their struggles. I didn't expect to meet you, Eli admitted, his eyes searching Marcus's. I didn't expect this. Marcus's chest tightened. Why didn't you tell me? I couldn't. Not then. I needed to know who I was without the robe, without the title. Eli stepped closer, his voice dropping. But I never stopped thinking about you. The revelation shattered Marcus's world. He was angry, at Eli for the deception, at himself for the feelings he couldn't shake. He'd always been the steady one, the cop who followed the rules, the man who kept his emotions in check. But Eli had unraveled him. They met again, outside the courthouse, under the same street lamp where their hands had brushed. You lied to me, Marcus said, his voice raw. I trusted you. I know, Eli replied, his face etched with regret. I was trying to find myself, Marcus, but what I found was you. The words hung between them, heavy with possibility. Marcus wanted to walk away, to bury the feelings that threatened his carefully ordered life. But he couldn't. Instead, he kissed Eli, a desperate, searching kiss that tasted of rain and redemption. Their relationship bloomed in secret, stolen moments in quiet cafes and late-night walks. But the world wasn't kind to a black cop and a gay judge. Whispers followed them. Colleagues who sensed Marcus's distraction, courthouse gossip about Eli's past. When a local reporter caught wind of Eli's time on the streets, the story exploded, threatening both their careers. Marcus faced scrutiny at the precinct, his captain questioning his judgment. Eli faced a judicial review, his credibility under fire. They stood at a crossroads, forced to choose between their love and the lives they'd built. In the end, they chose each other. Eli resigned from the bench not out of shame, but because he wanted to live openly, to love without hiding. Marcus took a leave from the force, enrolling in art school to chase the dream he'd buried. They moved to a small town outside Philadelphia, where the air was cleaner and the world quieter. Their new life wasn't easy. Marcus struggled with his identity, learning to embrace a love he'd never imagined. Eli worked as a legal aid, helping those he'd once judged. But every night, they came home to each other, building a life from the ashes of their pasts. One evening, under a sky streaked with pink, Marcus painted Eli's portrait, capturing the man who'd changed him. "You're still the judge," Marcus teased, brushing paint from Eli's cheek. "And you're still the cop who saved me," Eli replied, pulling him close. Their story wasn't perfect, but it was theirs, a testament to the power of compassion, the courage to love, and the beauty of second chances. In a world that tried to tear them apart, they found strength in each other, proving that even in the darkest alleys, love could light the way.